Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, August 21st Town Council regular meeting. Welcome to everybody out there and thank you for taking the time out to come and spend it with us. This meeting is called to order. As we normally do, we take a moment of silence and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, so we could all stand, bow our heads for about 20 seconds and return and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. If you could silence your electronics, it's a great help for us. Sometimes it is distracting. Also tonight, because we have a pretty full load, if you are signed up to speak publicly, if you're speaking for yourself as an individual, we're going to allow you 3 minutes. I'm going to hold you to it. If you're speaking for a group tonight, it'll be 5 minutes. And we'll hold you to that as well, so you can get through some of the stuff. So, with that, roll call. Everybody's here tonight. It's awesome. Is there any additions to the agenda? None? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So,
Is there a second?
second.
Mr. Alger?
Aye.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Mr. Lehman?
Aye.
Mr. Serby?
Aye.
Ms. Roberson?
Aye.
Ms. Schick?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Yes, sir. Mhm.
Before, I know that I'm due for presentation tonight.
Yes, sir.
I would ask the council to have a brief closed session prior to my presentation.
Okay. So, there's no minutes to approve? Okay. We'll start with council member announcements, item 7. We'll start to my right, Mr. Alger.
Have nothing to talk about.
He's already on the agenda. I don't really know, because he's already on
He's
there.
like your fourth, fifth bullet down.
Okay.
Mr. I.
I have nothing to say.
Mr. Lane.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to recognize a couple of volunteers in the town. Edward Hart and Sherry Lee have been collecting backpacks for several years now for our children that are less fortunate and their families can't afford these items. They had a goal this year of 45 backpacks, and the last thing I saw this afternoon, I think they were up to 102. I know there's a lot of other volunteers that help with this. And they're currently, over at Colonial Beach Brewing, putting 102 backpacks together for our students that need them. So I just want to give a shout out to them and tell them great job.
Mr. Serby. Ms. Roberson. Ms. Schick.
I just wanted to say thank you for several members of our community that have reached out after birth of my son, and so just thank you to as an overall, and also a welcome to Colleen, sorry, and I will get it right. She told me I did. I got the city right. And that's it.
And Colleen is our, filling the role of our new CFO for the town. And would you like to introduce yourself? Don't mind.
My name is Colleen Teo.
And she came here from upstate New York and lives in the beach now and has family and grandchildren, I think, in Fredericksburg, is that right?
Daughter, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, once again, we've been blessed to have somebody with an awesome background come to us, and very fortunate in today's time with such a high load on it. Is that right? Okay. And we'll start with item 8 presentations. Darren Hall from Hallmark Tattoo Studio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. We live on 2014 Beach Avenue, Colonial Beach, my wife and I, Lisa. And we'd like to open a tattoo shop in Colonial Beach. Our tattoo shop, we would like to, first off, squash any of the stigmatisms or prejudice, prior prejudice towards the tattoo industry by running a professionally operated, family-operated shop. If you don't have an ID, you'll be refused services. There'll be no children whatsoever under the age of 12. Will probably be the cutoff. Permitted in the shop. I am a licensed tattoo artist in the state of Virginia. And the tattoo shop would also have to be licensed. I can't move forward with that until, it's one thing before the other. The tattoo shop would be subjected to health department in the state of Virginia, Department of Permits Regulations for inspections. That's medical grade sterilization. I'm nervous, so I apologize. Is there any questions that you would have about this?
I saw your, I appreciate you doing this
Sure.
course as well, and it's extensive, and I like the fact that it's very professional.
That's my wife.
Okay. I wanted to share with you, I was contacted today at the meeting by our planning and zoning official,
Yes.
who has a couple of hoops that I believe are going to be required from the council
Sure.
and planning commission as well. So if Richard could explain a little bit of that.
The first thing, I'd heard that tattoo parlors were possibly illegal in the town, so I just did a search of the regular code, and they are in fact not permissible. So one of the first things that the council would need to do if you wanted to move forward is repeal that section of the ordinance to then make them legal. And then if you would like to add them to a certain district, that's what you would do. If you want to move forward with this, I would recommend directing it to the planning commission to study, come up with a recommendation. We would look at, possibly the C1 zoning classification, and then whether or not it would be listed as either a permitted or a conditional use. And of course, it would go through the process of public hearings and so forth, and before it's come back to you for consideration. But it's really a two-part equation.
Yes.
Planning commission, is that something you folks can tackle? Okay.
Is it an ordinance that says it's not allowed in town, that's what's in our?
Correct, it's not in the zoning ordinance, and I
Is it not in the zoning ordinance, or it's in an ordinance that it says it's not allowed? That's two different things.
both. It's
It
not,
can't be both. It's either addressed or it's not.
it's not addressed in the zoning ordinance, so
Well,
it's,
if it's not addressed in the zoning ordinance, where is it addressed that makes it illegal?
In the town code.
in the town code.
Now, what we have to look at is state code to make sure that we're allowed to, not allowed, we have to make sure that we're in line with the state code first. Okay, and how they perform with that. We've got a lot of things in our town that are not permissible under the state. And we probably have to check that first.
Can I speak
Go
on
ahead,
this?
Sure.
So it's, before zoning ordinances were adhered to and best practice, the town put in the town code things that they didn't want to permit in town. It's an old antiquated way to do it. And a lot of those parts of the town code still do exist and have not been updated. The best practice way to do it is through zoning ordinance. So I would recommend for us to address the town code issue because it should be handled through the zoning ordinance anyway.
That's
And
correct.
then also refer it to the planning commission for their advisement in C1, whether it should be a conditional use or a non-conditional conditional use, the planning commission review it. So you'll probably also need to present to the planning commission as well, though most of the members are in audience.
Okay, I still have a question, and still have an issue. Before you go to zoning, just because it is written in our town ordinance from years ago or something, that under the Dillon rule, it doesn't mean that it's legal, and it probably should have been eliminated previously because it is allowed under state of Virginia code. So basically, my point being is that we have got to correct the town ordinance first. So my point is, we can't say it's illegal if we are going against the state of Virginia code with our town ordinance. That's my point.
I think the simplest way to handle this is to direct it to the planning commission. Let them.
I don't disagree
Let-
with the zoning part
Can I
of it,
finish?
Jim, but the bottom
Can I
line is this, is are they allowed by right in the state of Virginia?
Allowed by right instead of Virginia,
Is it?
not to my knowledge.
Well, are there zoning, excuse me, are there tattoo parlors in Virginia?
There are
allowed?
state code requirements for tattoos.
Okay, agree, okay, so there is a state that allows it to take place
You haven't
in
let
certain
me finish,
states
Mr.
so
Surrey.
far, and we either got to adopt that or not. But we can't go against the state code. So if we've got something in our ordinance that is outdated or something that goes against the state code, which goes against the Dillon rule, then that is basically null and void.
Still not permissible until it's in the zoning ordinance.
I agree with that, but I'm pointing out it's two separate issues.
Right.
Okay? So, and that's one thing that Andrea was working on several years ago, was taking a lot of that stuff out that was in the town code illegal. So my point is, we're really starting with a clean slate. We're not starting with an ordinance that doesn't allow it, because we're not allowed to have an ordinance that doesn't allow it. So we're starting clean with a fresh zoning ordinance is what it is.
No, we are indeed allowed to not permit it.
I don't think anyone makes that argument. That's my point.
I understand your point, I understand there are two issues. But there is a way of handling it at one time.
Not the ordinance issue, only the zoning issue.
Okay, Mr. Foreman.
We can talk
please
about it.
finish.
If you refer to the planning commission to ask them to consider a text amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow it as a permitted use in whatever zone they think is appropriate with or without special use permit. They can have public hearings, and they will bring it back to you just like if it's not permitted, pursuant to the comprehensive plan. They will come back and say, you amend the comprehensive plan and put it in this zone of issues. Then we're going to come back to you to repeal the prohibition in the county ordinance and put it in this zoning classification with or without special use. So instead of having two different actions, let's just consolidate it and bring it in to the planning commission all at once.
Maureen,
Yep.
can you, do I need to get a vote from the council to approve to go to the planning commission, or
No.
just have them do it, now starts with them?
You got on that too.
I think we should have a consensus vote.
Okay, that's fine, you can do it.
To send it to the planning
Yeah,
commission
so
for review.
we'll just do we can do a basic consensus vote to send it to the planning commission. Is that correct? Mr. Allen?
Before we go, could we, one thing we used to always get here in council prior to administration, we'd always get a staff report on an issue that would point out to us where in the code something is or isn't and so on and so forth. But we don't ever get these staff reports any further. I would like to, yes, have the vote to go forward to the planning commission, but I would also like to see a written brief by the county attorney and by the zoning administrator on the issue and thoroughly think it out. We do everything verbally here, and it never gets recorded properly necessarily in meetings because it's detailed. But the staff reports were always very well done by our prior department directors, and I think that we should get back to doing that, and so we've got something to base something on.
All right, so back to the consensus vote to send it to the planning commission. And Richard, you will work with the language and such for the planning commission. Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt? Mr. Wayne?
Aye.
Mr. Survey?
Aye, and staff report.
Aye.
Ms. Shea?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, so, Richard, can you guys team up real quick? chance sooner than later. So that's where we stand.
Would you like to give them some idea of what that means? Our planning commission acts on things very quickly, but we tend to take forever to get it past that. So don't hold your breath.
Actually, we'll make sure that we're respectful. Thank you very much for your patience and we just gonna follow the rules and get all this forever.
Okay, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, Colonial Beach Schools.
Good afternoon. How you guys doing today?
Doing awesome.
All right. So just wanted to give you a couple of updates. Today we welcome back new teachers to the school division. We had 7 on staff to start off the school year in preparation for the start of the school year on September 4th. It was an excellent day with training and activity to get to know each other. We also have all the teachers and staff return back on next Monday. We'll have what we call a Convocation Monday with a brief message and a team building activity as a entire school campus. And if you would like to attend that, please feel free. We'll have a light breakfast and we'll get started about 8:30. Just want to let you know we also are moving forward with the purchase of Edmunds. We should begin implementation of the Edmunds program and software in October, which we believe will help facilitate the financial between the school division and the town. But with that, we are also preparing to close out the 18-19 fiscal year and are in need of a couple of reports to complete for the Department of Education. And I believe one of those reports would be the revenue and expenditure summary report. And I know Mr. Robinson and I have spoken about that, and we will hopefully have those reports pretty soon. And it will give us the opportunity to complete some additional reports that we have to do for the Department of Education. And with that, looking forward to the start of an excellent school year and continued collaboration between us and the town. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Council, any questions? Mr. Ferguson?
Good evening, everybody, on this nice, warm day. And now that we hear Mother Nature talking out there, let's see. A couple of things that the county is getting ready to do. First, I want to tell you, August 28th, and we will be made more aware of that and stuff as it gets closer. They're going to shut down the transfer site for trash for the day. The reason being is they're going to bring in all the metal and stuff for the new tower for communications enhanced 911. Then they'll be shutting it down again in September 6th to erect the tower. Then after that, they'll be doing all the wiring and all that stuff. So for 2 days, it'll be shut down out there while they bring all this stuff in, which will greatly enhance our 911 system for fire, rescue, police, sheriff, and all that. So hopefully that will go smooth. They were hoping to do it in a half a day, but they figured they better do it like all day just in case something happens. And the next is the one that I'm excited about is that we did receive the money for the feasibility study for a commerce park at this end of the county. And we'll have a meeting on that. I will be at a meeting to discuss a little bit of everything. This is a preliminary meeting. This isn't finalized or anything, but you know, what kind of site we're looking for, how many acres it'll be, who we're going to try to attract in this commerce park, water and sewer, which I think gives us an edge up on everybody, high-speed internet, and that, and so we're at the very beginning talking stage and stuff with this before it goes out to the company that's going to do the feasibility study and stuff for it. So,
When is that?
right now it's preliminary. There's no official.
When's the meeting?
There's going to be a small one tomorrow at 10 o'clock. But there's just handful of people.
What sites are being considered?
We don't know yet. That's the other thing is, again, the feasibility study will probably tell us where it should be and how much land and all this that we need for it. But I'm pushing for us right here because we're the ones that got everything that they need. So that's something, because we need more businesses and stuff in this town. I would love to see that. All right, that's about it. Any questions?
Larry, the one out in the county, I know that the park itself was developed before. Did they ever lease the building out, the county's building?
You mean down in my cross?
Yeah.
Oh, they sold it.
Oh, they sold it?
It's all
It's not
gone.
empty for long.
Well, that was an industrial park.
Right.
That's where Carry-On Trailer
I'm
is.
saying, if you all put economic development, put in a building.
Yes, and O'Gara has that building
They
now.
bought the building.
They bought everything. And now
Then they bought the school.
I made this known before, but what I'm also very pleased with is in front there on Route 3 is it was a machine shop, brick building, and now it's a welding school that the county, Go Virginia, the state governor came up and signed all the paperwork for it. So now not only Colonial Beach, but Westmoreland County people can learn how to weld and even go right next door and work with Carry-On, up their wages and everything else to help attract and keep. So we have something that's also very positive here for us. Yeah, but yes, that area is all gone. It's all sold and taken care of. Anything else?
Just to let everybody know, just in case you don't, many of the workers that are going to Carry On are being taught at RCC how to do the welding.
Yes.
And it is the second highest, I think, class of engineering. So,
Very good.
but it's gone really, really well.
Anything else? Can I ask them if they have any questions while I'm here?
I prefer that you did. Just opinion,
Okay.
council, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it. Planning commission,
Y'all have a good day.
thank you.
The Planning Commission is still working on the comp plan. We have finished the land use chapter, except for the maps, which I will be looking for somebody to do. And we have finished the environmental section, and it is being read by the Fisheries Department and also the wetlands community. So we're hoping that their input would help us there. We also have begun the 2020 to 21 capital improvement plan. And we will have that finished in time, so when you start the budget, we will be ready to give that to you. So that this will be in cyclic with your time limits, so hopefully that will work. And we're hoping that'll be a better perspective for you. If you have any questions, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Maureen. Downtown Colonial Beach?
Good evening, Joyce Reimer speaking for Downtown Colonial Beach. Very pleased to report that we had a very positive, productive meeting with Mr. Douglas and Councilwoman Roberson about the Historic District certification. And we felt good that Mr. Douglas seemed to have a solid grasp of the type of historic district certification that we were talking about. So we were pleased with that. He followed up with a call to Blake McDonald, the head of the Department of Historic Resources, cost-sharing grant and survey program. Again, very positive exchange. And he was able to get for us the exact boundaries of where the historic district, what it would cover downtown, and some clarification on schedule. At this point, we're very concerned about getting a public hearing and a hearing that we can have a population that will get to, because the historic resources personnel will come down and do the presentation to the public. Again, Mr. Douglas suggested a plan about the possibility of doing that presentation in advance of the October meeting, right before the meeting. So you can discuss that. We're concerned about getting into the holidays after that, and then after January, that's when you've got to have your fundraising, the grant ready, getting ready to go. So we don't want any hitches in the work at that point. So October looks like a good time. We've also had some developers speaking to us, contacting us, and are feeling more of a need to kind of be able to talk to them about what might be the opportunities in downtown. We've had our planning commission chair come to the last board meeting, share some information about that. And there are some additional resources and expertise surfacing right now with us. I'm not prepared to talk about them right now, but to help with kind of envisioning, making a visual expression of what a beautiful downtown would look like. But it is very important to get the historic district certification, because that will spur help to spur that further development. I'd like you to think in terms of your properties appreciating right now, rather than sitting stagnant. Also pleased to say we have a date for the Osprey Festival in 2020, when our two stars can get to it. The ornithologist from Caledon and Pam Narney, known as the Osprey Queen. And that is April 25th. We really wanted to get a date when they could be there. They were so popular last year. We've been alerted by the Planning Commission that they have someone who can do a more in-depth study of the trees, streetscaping, and the trees along Colonial Avenue. We did turn over to, I believe we sent it to you, Robin, a spreadsheet of addresses where we think that, private properties, but where we think that trees, shrubs, clusters could be planted. We did up that spreadsheet with our best estimate of the addresses, and also whether the spot was shady or sunny. So we have some material that we can turn over to the Planning Commission. And then finally, it appears we're eligible to apply for a $7,000 grant from Virginia Main Street. So that would be in January, sometime between January and March. And so I would encourage everybody to start thinking creatively about what we might apply for with that $7,000.
Joyce, could you tell us the kind of things that people pass with, like Warsaw or Kilmarnock or any of those other Main Street projects, what they've done with the monies that they get?
Well, they've done murals, they've done community signs, community bulletin boards, more professional looking bulletin boards, landscaping.
Can it be used to start what's called a BIG program, a business improvement grant program? It's kind of like a facade program, but for Colonial Avenue. Warsaw has a big program, I know, where they grant maybe $1,000 to a business owner if they match it and to improve the outside of their building. It's like a second facade grant, but we administer it ourselves instead of, the way South One West. I don't know, it sounds interesting.
That's a possibility, and we'll investigate that as the ideas come in, we'll check. Virginia Main Street's very responsive, and I have a question, they call me the next day. So we'll get a good reading on it, we'd like to hear your ideas, and those from the rest of the town.
I have a question on the historic thing. We've got a lot of buildings in town, historic buildings in town that are outside the old downtown. Are there any opportunities for those buildings to be
Yes,
a part of designation, even though they're not within the perimeters of the downtown?
not on this particular round, which is coming up right now, okay? The downtown, we felt was about as much as we could bite off right now. However, a good portion of the entire point and some places along the marina area were included in the document that stated that we were eligible to pursue historic district certification. I think if we do a good job with this first set, and then if the citizens and businesses are interested, we can shoot for the next stage. And there's a lot of properties, 450 properties on the point that would be surveyed.
I'm not just, I mean, we've got bed and breakfasts and stuff that been here for over 200 years, that were bed and breakfasts, but they're kind of here and there. And I didn't know if those types of things could fall into like a piece of it.
We raised the question with them, and they're actually researching this, about non-contiguous
Right, that's.
areas. Okay, so,
I mean, the original farmhouse up on Riverside Meadows, that's been forever. We got Center's Oyster House, has been, they're isolated pieces that could, I've got one in the woman house in 1990.
that's a question that they're researching. We can continue to research. I don't have an answer for you right now. But there is considerable opportunity, at least through most of the point, and then right outside the historic district too.
I have a quick question for you. You mentioned that developers have been in contact with you. Are these developers being generated from this program, your connections with this program? Are these just developers that are coming to town on the beach to kind of see potential and they want to?
Because two of them were very interested in restoration of historic properties, developing historic properties. I suspect that the word is getting out that Clearville Beach is pursuing this.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Oh, one other thing, Mayor, because this was a concern of yours. You had been concerned that we hold a meeting and that we are looking towards that in February, I think, for local contractors, tradespeople, real estate agents, and that would be a technical meeting
Okay.
to appoint them.
Right. I just want to make sure
With
that
the
our local
opportunities.
contractors have the opportunity to bid on these projects.
Right.
The problem is, this is along the lines of the stuff Robin has been to that show, the requirements of a lot of that are more so in the developers' realm, where bonding requirements and financing this and that, it makes it difficult for our contractors to really fit into that. So it's almost like if we had a contract or a developer coming into town that wanted to do something for the beach, that we would want to try to emphasize into the agreement the use of local contractors. Because we can't really act as the developer.
I think Mr. Survey, Councilman Survey, is probably correct on that. We have gotten a very lengthy listing of all the tradespeople, contractors in the state who are doing, it's an area, who are doing historic restoration work. So maybe something could be connected together.
Well, I look forward to seeing that.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Susan Chamber.
Good evening. First, I want to give you an update on events. Rod Run was last weekend. It was a great event. We had over 200 cars on the hill, even in the heat. And we missed the band on Sunday. They canceled at the last minute. It was an overwhelming success, and I think the biggest they've had in quite some time. Water and Pirate Fest is this weekend. It's going to be full of mermaids. There's going to be a participatory recyclable project sculpture that they're going to be doing with kind of trash from the beach. There's going to be storytelling, inflatables. It's a super kid-friendly event, so everybody bring your kids or grandkids out to have a good time. The following weekend, so we've got 3 in a row for the Chamber. The following weekend, which is Labor Day weekend, the 31st and the 1st, will be the Arts and Crafts Show. And it's a big traditional favorite in Colonial Beach. We've got lots of vendors that come to this. And the addition for that one this year is going to be a section where local artisans are doing their art, that people can watch them produce their art. So that's exciting. I want to talk a little about 4th of July and concerns that a few businesses had with the parking and the lack of ability for people to get to their properties. We met, so that was the 4th. On the 10th, we met with a few of the businesses, and then on August 1st, we had an after-action meeting with the Colonial Beach Police Department, the Westmoreland Police Department, State Police, the Chamber, and a few of the downtown businesses. And just kind of as an overview, the officers explained that it is their belief that between 90 and 95% of the people coming into town that day are coming to go to the beach. They're not coming to go to our businesses, they're not going home or to their homes. In fact, they said that they waved through all the people that specifically said they were going to a particular place, and that there has to be a regimented way of parking the vehicles that goes from one end to the other end. There was a lot of talk about safety. There was a lot of talk about how huge this event has gotten. And the bottom line is there was some suggestion that, or some implication that maybe it's gotten beyond our ability to handle. The outcome of that was that it's felt that the town council and the town manager, with input certainly from the police department and hopefully the chamber, should make decisions about how, if and or how we go about managing 4th of July. In the past, the chamber did it for a while, the specific parking, the fire department's doing it now, and it needs to be a really well-orchestrated, well-planned event with very good communication. And the chamber is absolutely wanting to be a part of that dialogue and to be the place that will disseminate information to the businesses in town so that they know what the plan is. I think that was a large part of the problem this year, is there was some communication glitches, and if we could let them know in advance what to expect, I think that would alleviate many of the concerns of the downtown businesses. Jeanette Jackson from Dahlgren Gateway Inns and Suites came the end of July. So this is a program where the hotel on base has 77 rooms. They have to fill those rooms, but they refer out 60 to 70 sailors a month to alternative housing options. These sailors, the average length of stay is 145 days. The per diem is $94 a night. So the chamber is working with the Gateway Inns and Suites and the CLASS program to get our accommodations, our interested accommodations listed with that program so that it's going to be especially helpful for our off-season rentals. $94 a night for cottages and our hotels would be a tremendous improvement for providing services. The Chamber had a social networking event at Lido's on July 24th. 23 people were in attendance, and it was very obvious there was a lot of networking going on. A couple of new businesses that are not quite yet open, but that hoping to open soon. We had Kiana Perez from the Richmond Small Business Association come and provide a training on Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor on the 5th of August. It was an interesting and information-filled seminar, and I think about 12 of our members attended that. Art Walk, we have Joan Powell, which is really fun, funky art in the chamber, some on the walls, some sculpture pieces. So if you get a chance, come by and see that. The quarterly non-governmental organization meeting took place on the 14th of August. We're happy to have Mr. Douglas with us for that meeting. Highlights include continued NGO collaboration and cooperation on projects, working more and more together with each other. We will be making recommendations to the town regarding the special events permit. We're very well aware that the way the business license process is operating right now is actually money generation is very low and labor is very high. And so we have some ideas that we'd like to present to the town about how the town can make more money and reduce labor costs on that. And we had some discussion on that. The other thing that we're working on is I had a woman come into the chamber to be seeking information about being a vendor for an event. And she talked about having a very difficult time finding that information. I said, oh, well, it's right on our website. And she said, well, which one? And it made me realize we have a bunch of different groups doing a bunch of different events. And we need to be unified. We need, as NGOs, to represent Colonial Beach, not the chamber, not downtown, not the foundation, but Colonial Beach. And we have a lot of ideas about how we can do that, and that those kinds of ideas will be shared with the town as well. Some of them include, for example, we have a volunteer appreciation event coming up in September, the chamber does. Well, we now have a unified volunteer list that goes out for all events. Maybe next year we start doing a Colonial Beach volunteer appreciation instead of each individual group doing one. Having possibly on the town's business website, do you want to be a vendor in Colonial Beach? And then they can hit that button, and then whatever event they're interested in can take them to the appropriate website for information on forms. But again, we're looking to create a more cohesive outlook for vendors, visitors, etc. coming to Colonial Beach. Our chamber chat went out, and the feature article was on our new Native Spirit Yoga business in town, and then our history article talked about amusements in the past in Colonial Beach, and ended with our very own Colonial mini golf that we're very happy to have here. And I think that's it for me, if there's any questions.
As far as the 4th of July thing goes, I believe you guys, I'm sure you have, I don't know if you did this past year, but I'm sure that was this year, you will, if you do the 4th of July, which I'm assuming you will have a pre-4th of July traffic planning meeting with the state.
So,
And then notifies businesses what the campaign is. Yeah, you know, it's just gotten so big, it really has. And there actually was talk at one time, I don't know if people remember, but when I first was elected to council, we actually had to discuss whether or not we were going to keep both of the fireworks events. And just kind of felt like, you know, it's been mainstay in town hall. We used to have them on the 4th of July. And also, a lot of the other jurisdictions that used to have them quit having them, although I think a couple have started to have them back again. But it didn't seem to affect us this year. We seem to have a good crowd again. I'm sure we can do better in communication. I don't know that we can do any better in moving the traffic in and out because we've come a long, long way. We've been able to do that. But certainly reaching out to the community, to the business community, we'll get way.
And we're happy to spearhead anything that we can do to be helpful. And by the way, it was very helpful for the chamber and the businesses present. And the one business that was not able to be there, I communicated the information to. And it's just very helpful for them to hear what the officers are saying. And absolutely have our support.
Thanks, Susan. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Susan, is the chamber sponsoring this, live vote that Carolyn appears?
That is Kyle Schick's boat, and they've asked to combine with the Waterfest. Yeah, yeah. And they're at your pier. Oh, yeah, sure, good idea. My little advertisement, not in any of the information out so far, because it just happened this week, Kyle Schick bought a 1928 boat, beautiful piece of history, and he's going to dock at the ferry landing pier and allow people on board to tour the boat, which is beautiful. Yeah.
Yep, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. If you don't know what a buy boat is, in the old days, the oystermen would be out in their smaller boats tonging oysters, and of course the boats would fill up with their bushel baskets full of oysters, and the buy boat would pull up beside them, and they would sell them right to the buy boat at that time, offload them to that buy boat, and actually shovel them into a giant haul, and when they got back, they shoveled them back out. And at least they had conveyor belts and all kinds of different ways of bringing them from the docks, which is Monroe Bay, back into the oyster house. Rusty Curly's, there was a big oyster landing place at the time, so a lot of history there. Pownell Beach Foundation.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Well, the summer is a busy time for the Pownell Beach Community Foundation. That's when we give out scholarships, that's when we send kids to camp, that's when we do Cinema on the Green. So it's been a pretty busy summer for us. We've now started to sort of look forward to the fall and into the winter and even to next year, starting to make plans for activities for next year. One of the events that we do have coming up pretty quickly before the next council meeting is the Northern Neck Music Festival, which, as you recall from last year, was very successful. We have even more to offer this year. We're going to have 3 bands instead of 2 bands, and you can also get a tent so that you can sit comfortably under a tent if the sun is blazing or if it's drizzling or whatever. But anyway, and if you were a member of the foundation, which I'm not sure how many of you are, but if you're a member of the foundation, you get a discount on the tickets. Dr. Farney does have tickets this evening if anybody is interested in getting a ticket for the Northern Neck Music Festival, which again is September 14th. He can help you out there. One of the things that we're finding at the foundation is that we are in a unique position in the town in the sense that we are a 501c3 charitable organization, and many of the other organizations in town are not, or they're not quite as organized as we are. So we've been helping with other organizations. For example, with the backpack drive with Shirley has an organization called CB Kids. Actually, Shirley and Edward are doing that event, are doing that organization together. But it's not a 501c3, so if somebody wants to donate a backpack, for example, they can come through the foundation, get a receipt that will designate that it's been given to a charitable organization, and they can deduct it on their income taxes. So we've been doing that with Shirley. We started doing that with Shirley. We, of course, the situation with Tory Smith was sort of similar in the sense that we got into the middle of it because of our status as a charitable organization. And also the radio station, we were the ones, the foundation, because of our 501c3 status, were able to get the license for the radio station, which then we've been helping the new group who have been putting the station together. And I hope you guys are listening to it, because it's really a great thing. It's a wonderful asset, new asset for the town. So I think that's about what I was going to say.
Real quick, if
Did
you
I
buy
miss it?
tickets, before September 1st, they're $25 a piece. If you wait till the day of, or after that, they're $50 a piece. So it's half price between now and September 1st. Highly supported.
Oh, yeah. Again, thank you. We've been, one of the efforts that we've been helping out with is to raise funds for the accessibility to the beach for handicap, making it handicap accessible to get to the beach. So there's been a drive to get funding for those platforms which have now been put out, and I think more are being ordered because we've been continuing to raise money so that we can have those platforms go out in several different places along the beach.
Was there also some accessibility made at the community center?
Yes. So one of the issues that we've had at the community center is that our bathrooms are not handicap accessible. So we have put in a porta potty in the back that is handicap accessible. Also, maybe some of you know that the door at the community center we've been having a really hard time with it. It's been jerry-rigged so many times now that we can't get it to lock or unlock or something like that. So we're going to be putting in a new door that I think we're going to expand the door so that it is even more handicap friendly. With a ramp. Yeah. Thank you.
You brought up the park, Torrey Smith Park, and also the handicap ramp. Isn't this Columbia Beach Recreation Association supposed to be doing that? I thought they were the ones.
Well,
Is
it's
Columbia Beach out there?
It's a collaborative effort. The organizations are working together. I mean, there's this, as Susan has mentioned, there's this very strong effort now to collaborate between the NGOs. So we are working with that group. And
It seems odd you've got 3 or 4 different people taking credit for this.
well, we're not taking. I'm trying to share credit. Actually, I'm not trying to hog credit. I'm trying to share credit.
No. I say, a lot of this stuff seems to be coming through the foundation, but it seems like it's coming through other people.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. In fact, that's exactly what I was saying, is that we are helping other organizations because of our status as a 501c3, where donations that come to them can be funneled through the foundation and get tax
Now, a
deductibility.
specific question on the Fort Smith Park. We have the month funds funneled through the foundation so that all the people donating could get the right.
Mhm.
Who is administrating the park?
Uh,
Who's responsible for the administration?
I don't think that's a
Board or
question.
something that's handling that?
That's not a question for the foundation.
I don't think the intent was for the write-off. I think that what happens is you have a choice between either a bank or something like that has to maintain the funds. For Torrey Smith Park, you have to
Couldn't get
sign
the write-off
some.
unless it went to them. and then
Well,
Cory wouldn't-
it does make it,
pay directly.
it does make it a charitable contribution when you do go to the foundation, but you're right, there were other reasons for it as well.
It was money saving as well.
Yeah.
Back to I just want to say real quick. Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Who's responsible for the park?
The
That's-
town's property, and the town manager is responsible for administering things at the
It's
park.
very different than when it started out.
Well, the foundation was never going to be the administrator of the park. We were just the financing.
When Public Works was told that they weren't having to maintain it and all that, when we put the budget together because it was being done by Columbia Beach Recreation Association or something, so we didn't include money in the budget,
I
right?
do think there's collaboration with nonprofit organizations for recreational activity there, for maintenance of things, certainly for many services that are added but the park is owned by the town, and certainly has a level of responsibility there.
Well, it seems clear now, but it doesn't seem clear when we're doing a lot of this, including creating budgets. And when the town manager's telling me in Public Works that somebody else is gonna be taking care of the park, because it's not coming into Public Works to cut the grass and this and that, it's very, very confusing of who's running what on a lot of this stuff that is promoted by the NGOs, which thank God we have it. But as I brought up before, a lot of times the NGOs will come in with funds to do something, and then they turn around and look at the town to install or to maintain it. And I just don't know that we're getting the clear understanding before we start some of this stuff.
Well, I think
It
if,
definitely wasn't clear with the Tory Smith Park, and when we were creating budgets for this year.
I think if Karen Gracevich were here, she could probably respond to you in a more
Well, this
thorough
was
way.
before Karen really got involved, the Tory Smith Park.
Okay.
I just wanted to say the handicap mats on the beach, I ran into a mother with a young disabled son in a wheelchair down by the old Elmer Park, Elmer Trail Park, and I told her that there was one of those up there, and she had never heard of it before. And later that day, I saw her up there.
That's great.
I thought, well, there you go, so
That's great.
it paid off right there.
Yeah.
Paid for itself right there, so very good, I appreciate that. As far as who's gonna maintain the park, I mean, we've talked about, the public has asked for a park and recs position, that type of thing, yeah. Right now, what's going on is it's a collaborative effort, it's shared. A lot of work went into Tory Smith Park, there's a lot more to go in, there's a lot of shrub and tree plantings that have to be done. They just met with the technology people from Virginia State Police to help choose a camera system that would be formidable and be on 24 hours, so it'll be monitored 24 hours up there as well.
And who's that today? Is it the town or is it Steve
Police
Swell?
chief and the town manager.
Like the shrubbery and stuff, who is taking?
So, how many trees is required?
Well, I think it's roughly 40 trees. We're having to wait till the fall, obviously, because you can't put the trees.
Where are they
in
from?
They're still part of the project build, so there's some money's coming from the foundation for that
That's
effort.
good. That's my point. So,
And
that was
we're
to me, it's
hoping
just a little.
to reach out to the folks down in off Leeds down Eagle side and Northern Pressures to see if they want to help us out, I think we probably will. So. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Could I digress for just a second and thank the town manager and the town attorney? I was having a very difficult time with the transaction, and they were very, very helpful, and I appreciate it. Turns out that the transaction fell through because of that exact situation that we were trying to deal with, but it was not for lack of trying on my part or their part, so I just want to thank you guys for helping out.
Yeah, what are you talking?
What's that?
We're not sure what you're talking.
Well, the situation is, this one particular transaction, the buyer was trying to buy a house that had a pier lease, and the lender needed to see that the pier...
This isn't a foundation issue, right? This is
No, I digress.
a issue.
This is, sorry, I just wanted to shout out to, I just digressed.
Okay, but I'm glad they were able to help you out with that. So I'm sorry that it fell through with the others.
All right, thank you.
Is anybody here for Palm Beach Recreation Association? Okay, at this point in time, we'll take the recommendation.
Closed session pursuant to 2.23711A7 and A8, which is consultation with legal counsel relating to actual proper litigation and consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters. The matter relates to the wastewater treatment system.
Can I ask a question? Are we still planning on discussing, are you still planning on doing presentations on this weekend?
That's one of the reasons for closed session.
Okay, all right, very good. So do I need to make a motion?
Yes.
Yes, there's a motion to go into closed session. A second. Mr. Chair votes aye.